What's going on YouTube? Keith Moore Jr. here with More Hustling, where we discuss practical ways to make money from reselling and or investing. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin. I have been invested in Bitcoin since September of 2017. I purchased Bitcoin when it was around $3,900. So I have experienced a bull run in the past, and we are currently in a bull run right now. Now, before I go more into the video, I want to lead off by saying this is not financial or investment advice. I am not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just giving my opinion on Bitcoin and going to briefly discuss what my approach is with investing in Bitcoin going forward. So at the time of this video, Bitcoin's current price, I'm gonna pull it up from my phone here, is $28,506 for a single Bitcoin. It is up 295% in 2020 so far. So that's very significant, especially considering everything that's going on in the world right now. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is basically digital money. Bitcoin is fully decentralized, which means there are no governments that can control or manipulate Bitcoin. There's a fixed supply of Bitcoin as well, which is very important from a macroeconomic standpoint, and there will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever. So once it gets to 21 million, there will be no more Bitcoin available. So you all will see me looking down periodically here. I have my notes that I took in 2017 on Bitcoin for beginners, basically, because I did not have all of the knowledge about it from a technology standpoint, but I understood things from a supply and demand standpoint and from an economic standpoint, because I did take economics in college. So that was one of the few classes that I am able to use now and apply it to real life. So don't worry if you see me looking down. I have a little cheat sheet here. I want to make sure that I do not miss anything. All right, so in addition to that, Bitcoin in the past, a lot of people tried to say that it was a scam, it was for criminals and things like that. And it was annoying because people act like there aren't criminals that use the US dollar. Now on Bitcoin, there is a fully public, transparent system. So you can see all of the transactions that are being made on the public ledger. So that throws that out of the window, where people are saying it's a scam and people are using it to hide their money. Not saying there aren't people doing illegal things with Bitcoin. There are people doing illegal things with the US dollar as well. So people are going to do illegal things regardless. Bitcoin isn't making people turn into criminals. So I want to put that out there first and foremost, because each time there's a bull run, the people that have seen me post about Bitcoin in the past will ask me about it, and then they will say that they are skeptical about Bitcoin, which is perfectly fine. I tell them, you know, I'm not trying to convince you to buy Bitcoin. I'm just sharing what my investment strategy is, and you can choose to follow or you can choose not to follow. It doesn't matter to me either way. But it's crazy to me that they think something like that is skeptical. But we look at what's going on in the world, particularly the US, and we see how things are being played out with the stimulus and all that, all those type of things, and people are not skeptical about, you know, working a job that they can be let go from at any given time. That I just can't wrap my head around that. But hey, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll go ahead and continue with talking about Bitcoin. So it was first launched on January 3rd, 2009. And I already mentioned it's a digital decentralized currency, which for me, this was the thing that stood out to me about Bitcoin, is because there isn't one single person in power of Bitcoin. And with it only being a limited supply, well, a fixed supply of Bitcoin that's ever going to be available, you know, a light bulb went off in my head. Like, this is an opportunity for essentially me to potentially create wealth for my family, as well as be early on an investment, because you have a lot of people who may have come from money or accumulated wealth in their late age, and they try to tell you, you know, be careful with things like Bitcoin, something that's new. But somebody like myself, I'm a firm believer in you have to take calculated risk. Obviously, do your research, but you have to take calculated risk if you're going to get to a certain level in life. Now, I could be completely wrong. Like I said, Bitcoin could, well, I don't think this is true, but Bitcoin could go down tremendously and never rebound. But I don't think that's the case. I think Bitcoin is still I think it's still early for Bitcoin. And at some point in time, we're going to see 100K plus Bitcoin for the price. So that's why I continue to dollar cost average in. Now, for people that are not invested in Bitcoin right now, when they see this price going up, since I have seen the bull run before for Bitcoin, and I know that the price can come crashing down significantly, I want to warn people not to go all in when Bitcoin is at an all-time high already. Not saying don't buy any Bitcoin at all, but dollar cost average into Bitcoin, where you basically, let's say every week or every month, you put the same amount of money into Bitcoin. And over time, if you're dollar cost averaging, you will be up on the investment if Bitcoin continues to appreciate in price, of course. Now, for me, when I dollar cost average, I used to do it monthly, but now I've been doing it weekly for most of 2020. But whenever there's a significant drop in Bitcoin, like when I see if it's a 30% drop or something like that, the amount that I'm dollar cost averaging, I increase that because I believe in Bitcoin. So earlier this year, Bitcoin dropped a significant amount, and I put a tweet out saying, and I'll put the screenshot here, that yeah, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin now, because I always knew that it would get to its previous all-time highs and surpass that, because I did my research and I experienced it. I think in 2018, when the price had dropped significantly, I did the same thing, and I put a tweet out during that time as well. And I'll put that screenshot up here also, where I said that, you know, I was going all in on Bitcoin. And at the time, Bitcoin was down around 59% at the time. People were writing it off. There were articles coming out of talking about crackdowns and regulations and things like that. But if you do your research, you know that people are going to attack Bitcoin because it is a decentralized currency. It wouldn't make sense for governments and stuff to promote something like Bitcoin. But something else that also doesn't make sense is the unlimited printing of money that we're seeing right now. So I just took what I learned in economics in college, and I started applying it, and then I continued to learn. And to this day, I listen to podcasts, watch a ton of YouTube videos, and Twitter is a great place to learn about crypto, because you will see a ton of people on there, and it's a lot of people that have become self-made millionaires just from not only investing in Bitcoin, but also doing work in the field, because there are a lot of people that genuinely want to do good for the world, and they want people to ultimately have control of their lives. Now, full transparency here, I still work a job. I work a 9-to-5, so I am not by any means off on my own or a full-time entrepreneur, but I do recognize important investments when they arise, and this has been a significant opportunity for me to get in early on something. And during the 90s, I was too young to understand what the internet was. I'm only 32 right now. But today, from what I've seen from the start of when Bitcoin first started to where it is today and the other cryptocurrencies, it's feeling kind of similar to how the 90s were when, you know, it was a lot of different internet companies going crazy, and only a few of those companies made it out of the 90s to be very successful companies today. But as far as other cryptocurrencies, yes, I do invest in other ones. I will share that in future videos. I'll talk about what I just did with Ethereum recently about a week ago. Kind of put my entire savings account in Ethereum, but we'll save that for another video. So if you have questions, leave them below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't feel like you missed the boat on Bitcoin. But before anything, do your research before investing anything, and that goes with any investment, not just Bitcoin. Once again, this is not financial or investment advice. Just giving my opinion, of course, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.